Yeah, how you doing? You seem a little anxious here.
Oh, yeah. I just came up with an idea on the story I was writing.
You're writing a
You kind of
story?
Yeah.
Have you read this book? He says, and he points to the book right next to him, and it says it's actually written in English. The title of the book is in English, and it says Age of the Dragon. And it's got a big, giant, dragon symbol on the front of it.
Excuse me, what?
No, I've never heard of it.
No, I've never heard of that.
It's a really cool book with knights and monsters and demons and of course magical people. And anyway, I thought I would write some fan fiction based on it.
Oh.
What's fanfic?
It's when you sort of take an existing story that someone made, and then you kind of write your own stories. Not that there's anything wrong with the original. It's just I was thinking, what if I made my own stories that was based on the original source, but maybe made a few changes.
What?
I mean, Levi, you're from the Muggle world and you don't know about fan fiction. We know it. We know about it here in the Wizarding world.
I mean, I'm not big of a reader, so.
That makes sense.
Anyway, while we were there, a big idea hit me that what if I took, the lore from this book, but then made it a little bit different. And I thought it would be really interesting if the different races they have humans, and they have the dwarves, and that they have elves, but not like the elves that we know of. These elves are tall, human size almost. But anyway, they normally can't breed with each other and have the babies with each other that are mixed. So I thought, what if I changed it so that the races are actually able to mix? I thought that would be really interesting, especially given to people Finn in real life and other things like that happens in real life.
No, that sounds cool.
That's actually very creative. I think that's really cool.
But so I'm sort of doing it's a spin-off, so it's not going to be Age of the Dragon, but I'm going to call it something else, I think, instead of Age of the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon?
No, Age of Empire. No.
The Empire
No.
Strikes Back.
No. We've seen that movie.
So if Al was there, he's probably flipping through the book, looking at it. He'll just look at Toby and say, "Do you let other people read what you write?"
But I not really. But I guess if you're interested, I guess I don't see why not.
Oh,
I mean-
perfect. I want to read it.
Yeah, you don't have to, but I enjoy reading.
Well, you're welcome to borrow this book if you like. I'm just using it for reference. But the story that I'm working on, it's still in the early stages. I'm trying to come up with a story where things that happen in the book ended up not happening the way they normally did because of time magic.
Well, while you finish your book, I'll read this one, and then I can compare them when you're done. Give you some pointers.
I would like that. Thanks, Al. You're a swell guy.
No problem.
Hey, I'm a swell guy too. I'll do that.
In your story, you should make this part where they find super cool magical hoops that do different powers.
I'm gonna give him a slap in the head.
Oh!
That's a stupid idea. We don't like that idea. Stupid idea.
It was a great idea.
Oh, another one.
Did you say something about time travel in your story?
Yeah. You don't think that's that's overdone. Do you?
Yeah, just make sure that the logic fits together and it should be fine.
One of the hoops could do time travel, and then you could do that.
Al kicks him.
A slap and a kick. Okay.
You're talking a lot about hoops.
No, he's not. He's crazy.
I know you
What
know.
hoop? Dragon Age! How about the title Dragon Age? Yeah, while trying to shut up, Levi.
He's about to answer Levi, but then he says, Dragon Age! That's a genius one. That's a genius.
Yeah, I know, I'm a genius. And I'm gonna grab Levi and be like, well, we have to go, bye! And he's gonna start running Dragon Age.
I'm holding on to the table. I'm holding on to the table.
No, we're going.
No.
Al just kind of stands there, watches them leave, kind of just closes the book and looks at Toby.
I need to know more about Dragon Age being fan fiction.
Go
As
ahead.
a character, I can't believe that Toby wrote the first session of Dragon Age.
He wrote it.
I
It's all
can't
through his
believe
mind.
the Dragon Age campaigns are fan fiction in the Hogverse. Like, because they are fan fiction, but like,
Just
Well,
so
so-
we find out
in
what
the
ours
Hogverse.
is.
So I was going to.
Like,
so,
guys, that's the biggest bombshell so far. Just saying.
So I told AJ and Brandon yesterday that one of the things that's been super helpful for me is actually setting up the timelines, because I put up the timeline of every single campaign I've done so far and how they line up with each other, which is important for the crossovers. And since the crossovers, just as an FYI,
I don't think it's a spoiler, because by this point everybody knows that there's no crossover. The crossover for this campaign is going to take place in Act 2, which is 20 years from now. So this is taking place 20 years before the crossover, which means that if you are looking at the timelines, technically speaking in the timeline, this campaign is happening several years before the time that the Dragon Age campaign starts, before season 1 starts. So it's
So this is like as some of the origin stories are happening, is pretty much like when we are.
Or maybe Toby has some kind of inner eye ability and he's seeing
Toby
the
does it.
So like here was my theory, right? So if you remember in the like little teaser that Jay did with like he opened books. So
Yeah.
all of these campaigns happen out of books.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And one guy who's got all the books, he makes the crossovers happen.
Who are we talking about?
Shay is one of the players from Pokemon.
Right.
You know,
I thought you said
Chase.
Jay.
Shay. Yeah.
Remember that in the letter we got from Philip, fate was written with a capital F, as in a person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fate is a person, guys.
Fate is the character who has all the books. And yeah, but I reckon he's got like agents from every like there is a characters in every universe that also contribute to the crossovers kind of thing. Like Anna Silva and things like that. She kind of has an inkling to what's going on or is able to bridge the gap or works for him or something. I don't know. Because she's in Pokemon too. So like
Yeah, that's right.
what's going
So to get-
on?
To give some background. So the very first campaign that I ever did for my channel was Dragon Age Season 1. And when I was very new to GMing that particular setting, and I played Dragon Age and I knew a lot of the lore, but sometimes I don't get the lore quite right. So in that campaign, I had characters who had two separate races that ended up having children, like Kunari. I had like half Kunari or half elves or half dwarves. And somebody corrected me in the comment section that they said technically in Dragon Age lore, the races can't really like. If you mix like a human with the Qunari, you can't really have a half Qunari. That apparently is not.
I mean,
I-
Morrigan's Kieran can be half dwarf.
Yeah, true. It's
It's often like theorized that Sandal is half elf. Like,
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but most of it's theory.
More specifically, you can have two separate races create a mixed child. It's just that the child ends up being predominantly one specific race and not necessarily physically a mix between the two races. For example, a half-elf pretty much looks completely human. Or in Sandal's case, if the rumors are true, a dwarf mixed with an elf pretty much looks like a dwarf. So in my campaign, I had created characters that did share half features with one race and half features with another race. And that's what I had been told was not accurate strictly to the lore.
Yeah, so what I said was, thank you for letting me know. I try to get things as accurate as possible, but I don't always get it perfect. So then later on I thought, well, what if I had a way to explain why in this particular version of Dragon Age you could have both. So I think it was in Dragon Age Season 2 when it was brought up again. And then I told the players in another vlog, I told people in that vlog that I do have an explanation on why you can have half elves and half Qunari in this setting of Dragon Age, but you probably will not learn the reason for that until a future campaign.
So now,
Kirby wrote a fanfic. That's the reason.
Now I think we've come to that point. The explanation as to why that's because,
Nice.
as I said in the session proper, the events of this campaign, if you line them up with the timelines of the other campaigns, of the Mass Effect and the Dragon Age and the Pokemon campaign, this current campaign actually takes place before the Dragon Age Season 1 campaign started. Actually, before any of the other campaigns started.
I
Because-
figured that was the case because Dragon Age Origins.
So you guys are way back in the past, technically, in the timeline before any of the previous campaigns I have ever done. And then when we do the 20-year jump, we will be back to the present. So that's what I will say about that particular thing.